Recording is rolling. Oh, yeah, recording's rolling. So it is Monday, August 11th. Yeah, welcome to Algebra 2. This is going to be a good class. Write in your planner. If you have a planner, how many of you guys have a planner? Who has a planner? Yeah, some of you guys do. Right, definitely use that. More on that later in this presentation. If you do not have a planner, you guys see I put some paper out on those bar stools. You could use that as a temporary planner. You don't have anything better. Right, so definitely write down to log on to that Google Classroom right there. Right, with that classroom code. By the way, that's also on that syllabus curriculum that I handed you guys when you walked in. It's down the bottom right, the box, and huge font. All right, so just like I'm making a recording right now, I will post this recording to Google Classroom after school. And if you need to access that, see anything exactly I said, how to phrase something, or if you're absent from school one day and you see exactly what we did. Okay, so you have all that. Also, meteor shower usually kicks off the beginning of school. So that's not tonight, but tomorrow night, if you look in the sky, you might see some shooting stars. Yeah, look for that too. All right, so of course, a lot of stuff I want to get to. This presentation is probably going to take me today and Wednesday. Tomorrow's laptop day, so as far as we can here. Yeah, so tonight, just real simple, just storing classroom. You know what could be good to throw on this list too is to get a planner if you don't have one already. So ask your parents for a planner. So emphasize that more. Yeah, more on that later. All right, name cards. So if you haven't already, you guys see that card in the top left of your desk. So write your name next to 6, since you guys are period 6 in front of me right now. So write your name there. All right, so after school today, we're gonna go home, put together a seating chart based on your writing on your name, that card, right? And then I'll be able to do attendance fast. It'll take me a few weeks to learn everybody's name, but this will definitely help me out, help you guys out with the class go. Okay. All right. Oh, any questions so far? If you guys have any questions about anything, let me know. If you have a question, probably everybody else is wondering kind of the same thing. Okay. Ooh, bell schedule. So if you're in class, you guys see I have the bell schedule right here. So you guys see, and also right over here. So you got bell schedule, a couple places. Now, if you're here at this school last year, probably most of you guys were, then there's a few changes from last year. Right, so, probably one you've run into already is that there were only 2 lunches instead of 3. You see that? How'd lunch go, by the way? Is that all right? Yeah, okay, probably very crowded compared to last year. Yeah, I can imagine that because yeah, let's do a little math. It's math class, right? Suppose there's 2,000 or so students in the school. About if you divvy that among 3 classes, that's about how many hundred to the nearest hundred? Maybe what 700 about 700 about pretty close. Yeah, plus or minus a little bit. Right?
6 or 7.
Yeah, somewhere there. 6 700. Right. But now you're down to 2 lunches. That's how many per lunch?
A little over 1,000.
Yeah, about 1,000. Yeah. All right. So something to look out for there. And then another change is we normally get out early on Friday. Now, last few years it's been 2:15. This year it's 2:30. So get a few extra minutes per class, which I know I'll definitely be making use of in my classes. Except for this Friday. I've been told this coming Friday we're actually on a regular schedule up to 3:30. Okay, you guys probably heard that too. Right? Yeah. So I don't know why, but that's what we're doing, I guess. So yeah. All right. Surprise. Got tomorrow, you guys know it's going to be laptop day. If you were in the past, kind of know how this goes, is that your first period class, we're going to be checking out these laptops. And then every class after that, there's something going on, either like videos to watch or quizzes or surveys to take or something going on. So that's pretty much going to be tomorrow and do what we can there. Now, there was a one-to-one laptop agreement that supposedly I think you guys got during registration, something like this. Now, I had a few extra copies this morning, but those were okay, I've got some extra copies. Does anybody need one of these one-to-one? Right, here, I'll do this. I'm just gonna pass around this pack, and if you need one, take one, and then pass it around. All right, so I've got some of those. So if you haven't signed that yet, sign it or have your parents sign it or whatever I want you to do. Okay. Also, yeah, I should show you guys a little bit on this Google Classroom I'm having you guys sign up for. Right, there's not a lot on Google Classroom right now, but that is one of the pages. So what do we got here? Zoom in, point. Okay. There's this curriculum syllabus we'll look at a little bit later class today. I handed you guys this as you're walking in. I got some math simulations, Colorado University Boulder. These are some algebra and trigonometry pages that I usually use near the beginning of school for my other classes too. This is actually the first year I'm teaching Algebra 2, but I was looking through you guys' book and it looks a lot like the math I usually use in my Physics 2 class. Right, so there's a lot of overlap. I mean, know the content, so I have to figure out how to pace with you guys. I don't know if we're going to use all these pages, but they're there. And as the year goes on, whatever documents I'm giving you guys in class, I usually try to get on Classroom so that, if you lose something or say you're absent and didn't get it to begin with, you can usually just print it out from Classroom. Okay. Now, this is the one I uploaded just this morning, is that one-to-one agreement. So if you hadn't had that yet, but that's that pack of papers going on right now. So you can check out a laptop tomorrow and have access to that. So got that. All right. Passes. So I'm gonna keep using the system going from last year. Do you guys see in class? Do you guys see these passes hanging right here? These passes. I got a green one, got a red one. Right. So if you need to be out, say if you need to go to the restroom, that's the green pass right here. Then go ahead, just walk up here, grab this. Look at me, let me know you're going out, and I'll give you a thumbs up. And go ahead. Right. Again, just like I'm making a class recording right now, a lot of times there'll be some class recording going on, and we're in the flow of like solving a bunch of puzzles. So, just to keep that going and give us discreetly, however fast you need. Right, that red one is more for like, okay, it says right here, clinic guidance, anywhere else you have to go. There's somewhere special you have to go. Let me know, write you out a note card, something like that. Right. Try to have just one student out at a time. If you have to use the restroom, just within 5 minutes, there and back, that someone else needs to use the restroom. Help your classmates out too. Also, here's a school rule. No passes the first 10 or last 10 minutes of class to help maintain order in the school. But you can imagine from admin's point of view, if there's, thank you. Anybody else need one of these agreement papers? Okay, well, that's some extra here. That if students are taking out passes the first 10 minutes of class, they don't know like who's taking a pass and who's just tardy or not getting to class. And similar idea the last 10 minutes of class, like who's trying to get lunch early and or leave school early. And okay, so it's a little bit of so let's really try to stick this just to help like order in the school, and ultimately it kind of trickles down and helps maintain order in the classrooms, and then you guys get the most out of your classes. Ooh, drills. So when this guy starts singing his song, question, what do you do? And you guys say, aha, nothing. Yeah, just sit there, do nothing. We're gonna wait for further instruction. So this could be one of 3 different things mostly. So let's go through each one of these drills. Many types of drills. Okay. So if they call shelter in place, what does that mean?
Yeah, stay in the room.
Yeah, to stay in the room. A lot of times you guys know they'll call this for say like lightning storms. Right? They just don't want anybody like walking around like getting zapped by lightning. So we'll just be in the classroom, just doing our thing, and just keep doing that and try to really not use the restroom or right? Don't have to. Okay, if they call a lockdown, then we're going to move to where? Aha, back of the room. All right, hunker down. Let me get lights on just for a minute here. You guys ready for lights? Lights. All right, you guys see that red card on the back wall? All right, that's our hard corner back there. It's really nice that we get one of these science rooms with these science tables. So if they call lockdown, we'll just go back to that corner, just hunker down behind a lot of tables. We'll be safe there. Sometimes it's just for a drill. It's like 5 minutes. So just do something like that. All right. Any questions on those first 2 so far? You guys all right? All right. And then there might be an actual fire drill evacuation. They'll send us outside. All right, now that one, there's a site A and a site B. So got a couple of slides to go over site A and site B. Right. First, here's an aerial view of the school. Now here's where we are right now. Is this building 3? That's where we are. It's building 3. Right. Actually, where my mouse cursor is right there. Bam! It's hovering right over my classroom where we're sitting right now. Okay. So whether they say site A or site B, we're going to start out the same way. Is we go out sort of the classroom, going to hang a left, go all the way down to the back door of the school, which is right here. So we're exiting right here, right? And then, well, then it depends. So here, this next slide, I got like a site A and a site B. I'm going to go over those with you guys, but let's go back to the aerial view just so you guys get a couple of views of this, right? So if they send us to site A, that's going to be, we're going to line up. Do you guys see the sidewalk right here? This big old sidewalk, right? So all along the sidewalk are printed numbers. May have seen those last year, right? And number 118, we're going to be at 118, is right behind this the sport shed right here. The sport shed. You guys see this right here, right? So, right, they call us. All right, no, I don't expect everybody to memorize that necessarily. So if they send us to site A, I'll throw all this info up on the screen real fast, and then we're headed right there. Right? If they call site B, they're sending us to this stadium. Right, you guys see all these bleachers, all these home bleachers. So if you look in front of the bleachers, there's cards with letters marked A, B, C, D, all the way down. So section D right here, that's where we're allocated. Section D is going to be my class. Right. show you guys too. Show you guys this here. Switch my screen. Boink. There is, or also have this from the past. One year they had us make these. Right, so got my name on this big old stick. So I will just be holding this up above my head right here. So when there's like thousands of students out there, you'll be able to see exactly. All right, here's Griffin on a stick. Yeah, Griffin on a stick. Be able to find us, lined up. It's gonna be good times. All right, so again, a little bit different view. All right, so here's our building, building 3 right here. Okay, if they call site A, yeah, out that door, left, out the back door, and we're gonna line up. It's like right behind the storage shed right here. So 118. Whoop, there we go, 118. Okay, on the sidewalk. If they call site B, we're going to stadium. Now on this map, the school is like down below the projection. So we're kind of coming up from the left side. We're going to section D. We'll just hang out on the bleachers of D. Okay. All right. Any questions about any of these drills? Yes. All good. All good. All right. So trying to work slide by slide towards this class. What are you going to get out of this class? Kind of thing. But yeah, let's look a real big picture here. Real big picture. So you guys look really close. Can you see a bunch of little squares there on this graphic? A bunch of little squares. Right? And how many squares across?
Like
50, 52 about? Yeah, or if you estimated between 50 and 60?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like 52, right? And how many down?
Maybe more like 70.
Oh, 80 or 90?
70.
Yeah, it's got little numbers here. It's a little tiny font. Yeah. Yeah, it's about like 80 or 90 boxes down. 52 across, 80 to 90 down. Ooh, what do you think every single one of those squares represents?
Personal.
Huh? One week? 1 week? Yeah, 1 week. So when Friday rolls around, this first weekend, you can check off one more box. You guys are in the school band, by the way, marked high school. And when you check all the boxes, it's game over. So, think about this. What do you want to do with your life? Right? What do you want to experience? What do you want to get out of it? What do you want to share with the world? Yeah, so it's like this. Good to think metacognitively about that and how are you going to achieve that? How are you going to organize this? Right. Of course, a lot of the future is unknown, so make the best of the present so you can navigate to hopefully a good place in the future. Okay. Here's one framework for trying to figure this out: is what are you going to do with your life, right? So not the only framework, right? You might be other ways to think about this too, but what do you enjoy doing? What do you love doing? Right? What are you good at? What are you skilled at? What can you be paid for, and what does society need? Those kind of go hand in hand. So kind of demand for your labor in the labor market. I think if you've checked all those off, you're sitting in a pretty good place, right? And imagine you wake up every day and maybe if you want a family, you have a family, but you have a way to support them doing something you enjoy doing that you're skilled at, that the world needs, and they're paying for you. Right? So that'd be pretty good. Oh, so as you're going through all your classes today, consider what does that maybe sort of look like, and what skills do you want to develop along the way, and what are you going to get out of your classes, including this class, the math class, to eventually achieve that. So yeah, because math is just built into everything all over the place. There's like so many things that I've been interested in, or just like either teaching my classes or doing various jobs, or maybe just like hobbies and interests I have on the side where okay, well, if I really want to accomplish this, I have to like solve this problem or design this thing, and there's like some mathematical framework behind it that say if I'm sitting in a high school class, I don't know, 15, 20, 25 years from now, that's yeah, turns out I need this skill for this exact thing right here. And there's some projects I worked on. It's like, oh man, it's really good I know calculus because I actually can incorporate that into like solving this or that thing. Now, here's maybe where it starts to get tricky too. Is it possible that you will work a job that doesn't even exist yet? There's a link here that says 20 jobs that didn't exist 20 years ago. And even that might be a little bit outdated. That's from a few years ago. Kind of patched this presentation together from. Well, I updated it every year, but this slide's a few years old. Again, not really gonna click on that link, but you guys get the idea. Is here, give you guys an example. Is back when I was in high school, YouTube did not even exist, right? So there might be so many guys who are maybe starting to upload content or think, hey, maybe I could sort of make a career out of this because people do, right? And yeah, that wasn't even a concept back when I was in your guys' shoes because how would I know, right? And what about 20 years from now? Now, 20 years from now, I mean, society is changing so fast, and technology is changing so fast. I mean, there's even a legitimate question of like, are people even going to have jobs 20 years from now? Or, I mean, it's really open, legitimate question. Like, who knows, or what it's even going to look like? Nobody really knows for sure. Maybe you can make some guesses, but you know. But the best you can do is make the. Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, here. Just say this. Yeah, the best you can do is just make the best of every day, every class you're sitting in, get the most opportunities that you can, and yeah, hopefully things connect down the line. You never know what skill or what knowledge you'll have that's going to be important somewhere down the line. Okay. Now, speaking more on AI, because again, it's like such a new technology and things are changing so fast. I was thinking about this over the summer. I really want to make some good use of this in class in some way. I don't know exactly how. I mean, it's so new. I know a bunch of old ways to do things and teach you guys math. But people do lots of different things with AI. So base slide for this, just to think about this a little bit. Like, what's a good use of this? And what's maybe not so good use of this? And I imagine a lot of you guys are hopefully dabbling in it and like figuring out what it can do, and you're probably going to almost certainly use it for within your job or career, like someday. Assuming career is even close, right? So let's start with the don't side. Don't have AI replace learning opportunities to learn cognitive skills that would be good for you to have. Don't, for example, don't have AI just write your essays for your English classes or other classes. Because now in this class, we're probably not going to have you guys write essays, I don't imagine. But when, say, your English teacher, history teacher assigns an essay to you, it's not just busy work like, oh, okay, I got to have a grade in the grade book and whatever. It's really to help you guys like build neural networks in your mind to like learn how to take like your thoughts and your ideas and communicate them, right? And that's a skill you have to hopefully build and help you out down the line. So that, I don't know, 5, 10, 15 years from now, when there's something that you have to write that actually comes from your heart that you want to say, you'll have that skill to be able to communicate that. And maybe more broadly, that can apply to other things. These machines are able to do so many things that only humans could ever do up to like last year. But if there's like something that you want to learn or some skill that you want to build, yeah, go ahead and do that. Like pursue those things because I mean, even if the machine can do it in the future, something that's going to come out of this. Like the more you learn in your classes, the more possibility that opens up for you to like ideas that you can even be aware of, right? Like, oh, okay, because I learned this in this class, I recognize that this or that concept even exists, and now my imagination is expanded. Right? I know things I can do. Or what if you're say like using an AI program to design something? It's all fine and good, and it's like it doesn't do quite what I want it to do, and how do I say communicate that or but hey, since I learned something in school, I sort of have the knowledge and vocabulary to understand some concept that maybe I wouldn't have otherwise. Right. So, or maybe some good things to do with AI. Learn what AI tools can do in a wide array of applications. The kind of go-to examples like, oh yeah, I can write an essay or whatnot. But I've seen AI do all kind of crazy things like design computer simulations and games. And I came across this YouTube channel a few weeks back that was like some guy who was crafting stories and putting them in like a community college drama format. He would take stories like one he did was like Back to the Future. He did Lord of the Rings, and like what would it look like if it was like a community college like play production? Right, the whole thing was AI, and I mean it's getting to the point now where I can't tell what's real or not. I don't know, but that would be like a real like prompt. I mean, there's a real skill in prompting. This is like so new, right? So it's not like you can just like put in a prompt and like hit enter and like get everything exactly like you were imagining it. Right? Like one of the skills going forward, I imagine, I can kind of see it like developing right now, is that you have maybe some clear idea of something that you want to create, and you have to figure out exactly how to maybe communicate that to an AI. If it doesn't give you exactly what you want, you have to like go back and forth in a prompting. I imagine that maybe a lot of you guys might do a lot of prompting, and that might be a like really handy skill one day. Right. So whatever you're interested in, if there's some AI application, see what it can do. Right. Maybe if you want to be a movie director, you want to craft it scene by scene. Like, oh no, actually make this scene exactly this way or something. Uh, of course, in any of your classes, if you want to use it to help explain things hey, maybe one day I teach you guys logarithms and like, you go home, it's like, oh, that didn't make any sense. I don't know. But and you can say, open up Google and have it re-explain it to you in a different way. So it does make sense to me. That would be a good application. Okay. Uh, yeah, I want to have a show and tell day one day. I don't have a date on the board yet, but just start me think about this where it doesn't necessarily have to be AI. If you're there's like some craft that you're working on or something creative that's interesting, you guys can bring something like that. But I do want to give you guys an opportunity to show something about your skills or develop skills in some way that could also be related to this. Oh yeah, yeah, go. Yeah, so just be thinking ahead this a little time. If yeah, again, if there's projects you're working on or things you're interested in where you're already interested, so how can I incorporate AI into this or that? Yeah, just be ready because I'll give you guys a date one day to share some stuff. Ooh, all right, habits. All right, so habits, of course, these are routines that are hard to break. Now, this goes both ways for bad habits, good habits, right? And right now is the best time to sort of reset. Right? I know I know the schedule is routine every year, and you guys probably do too. Is August? I always try lots of new things. You guys are starting lots of new classes, right? Then we get into some of the routine. Now, there's a lot of cognitive science to show that after about 3 or 4 weeks, right, you really build a routine where your brain's like used to doing that particular thing. Um, so, if your habit is, I go home and I just like start scrolling on the internet, and that's all I do until I go to sleep, and then my work piles up, and I don't have time for that, and so I'm falling behind in school, and then all the other things I wanted to do outside of school, well, I don't have time for that either. I don't have time for friends. Then now your life's falling apart. It's like, hey. But if you had a habit more like, here, got one of these points up here is use a planner. There we go. Okay. If you have a planner and throughout the day you're taking bullet points, okay, I got to do like this or that. I know I go home after today and every day, and I'm totally wiped out, exhausted every day because I'm doing hard work. You guys are doing hard work. Right? Academic work is definitely hard work. And I might have to like sit down, take a break, eat dinner, and then open up my planner, and then I very conveniently have those 5 or 6 different tasks, just bullet points. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot I had to do that. I definitely got to do that to get ready for tomorrow, right? You just like check, 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 knock them all out. And then, yeah, a lot of times I might even have a little bit of spare time at the end. So, okay, now I can do some other things that I was interested in too. Um, if you have just a space and a time dedicated to anything you want to do. So in your planner, write down, of course, all the things you have to do for school, all your classes, but you could have interest outside your classes too. I've seen students your age do a lot of really cool things, like design web pages and like write music and do all really cool things that they want to do that maybe they just don't have a class dedicated to, but you don't have to, right? But hey, make a space and time for that in your planner too, right? TV show you want to watch, write that down. You want to hang out with friends, yeah, make a space and a time for that too. Put it all in your planner. Okay? So go back up here. You're under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. Yeah. So think about, hey, what kind of student was I last year, and do I want to repeat that or not? And maybe you do, and maybe you don't. Maybe you want to try something different. So again, I know back to this routine is I know by the time April and May rolls around, I'm totally exhausted, and we're all just trying to get to the final exams and make things happen and get to the summer. And summer's always a really good time to reset and refresh, and then my mind's actually free to come up with some new ideas and whatnot, right? But yeah, what kind of student were you last year? Were you the kind of student that got behind everything piled up, and really stressful because you're way behind, you didn't have time to do anything you wanted to do, and or did you keep a planner? You were organized, you were taking notes, you were turning everything in on time, and then you had time to do extra stuff you wanted to do, and made time for that, made time for friends, made time for your extra hobbies, and yeah, if you things didn't go so well last year and you want to try something new, then hey, this is the perfect day to start over, right? If you have a planner, definitely use that planner. If you don't have a planner, then go home and ask your parents for a planner. Get a hold of a planner and use that. Ooh, here's a good one. Positive framing. So in each of your classes, and this is true in life in general too, is a lot of what you get out of life is just what kind of attitude you approach things with, right? I've seen so many people that just approach things from a negative sense. They just go around and just looking for things to complain about and whine about, and like, oh, everything's always bad all the time. And that negativity just rubs off on other people. It's like, okay, well, that's not good for you or anybody else. I mean, there's reasons to that we're all at school. You know, I really legitimately want to teach you guys a lot of cool things about math and give you guys good frameworks to consider the world in terms of. Uh, and this could be true for all your classes. Every one of your classes, there's your teachers are going home and they're putting these lessons together, and like, oh man, I really want my students to learn this or that. So if you can be engaged in class, apply positive framing. What can I get out of school? How can I enjoy school? In this class, we're of course going to be solving a lot of math problems. That's a big part of this class. Drawing a lot of graphs. Uh, I like to think about these in terms of puzzles. So if you like solving puzzles, I think you should like this class. Right? But yeah, you never know what you're going to get out of any class or any particular day, or maybe over the course of a year. That's going to be a skill that you're really glad that you have, say at 5, 10, 20 years from now. Ooh, good things to have. Let's see what we're doing here. All right. So I'd recommend you guys have some kind of calculator. Yeah, okay. Now this this particular model calculator right here, this TI-30X2S, this is exactly the one I use in class, and it's also on your desk. So I have a class set of these, get these. Okay. If you want your own, you can find this for like $10, $10 or $12 at Walmart or Target. But this is a really powerful calculator. I really like it. It's one of my favorites. So of course it can do all the regular math, the multiply, divide, square roots kind of thing. Right? There's also sine, cosine, and tangent. So some trigonometry functions. You guys learn about sine and cosine? Yeah, sine, cosine. Yeah. All right. So hopefully you're okay. Yeah, you guys learned this. If not, if you're kind of rusty on it, then probably come up in this class and then get to solidify that knowledge. There's also some probability statistics functions on this calculator. So you can find like standard deviations and that sort of thing. Okay. Anyway, no, if you want to use your own calculator, if you have, let's say, like a graphing or something, then that's perfectly fine too. But if you want to punch the exact same buttons that I'm punching and that helps, then that's what I'm using. Okay. Planner, yeah, organize your life, accomplish your goals. So things you write in your planner, it could definitely be school assignments, but it could be, again, like your own personal interests, spend time with friends, maybe a TV show you want to watch that shows up on a Wednesday, right? So just make a space and a time for everything you want to do, and then you'll be able to get a lot more out of life and feel a lot better about it. So if you don't have a planner, then ask your parents for a planner. That could be another homework assignment. Meantime, you guys got that paper on those bar stools in front of you. All right, something to keep notes in, paper to write on. So this is kind of up to you. Do you want a spiral notebook? Do you want a 3-ring binder with loose leaf paper? But of course, we're going to be doing a lot of math in here, solving a lot of math problems. So I might be solving some puzzle up here, and then maybe I'll just like stop part way and I'll walk around the room and see who can actually finish solving this thing. And yeah, then I'll know and you'll know, right? Because if you can finish solving something before I do, then that's a good indication to both of us that you know what you're doing, that you know how to solve this. Okay, so something to write on, some kind of paper, notebook. Ooh, okay, so what is this class? Algebra 2. All right, so trying to find a good like nutshell definition. Came up with this math course building on concepts from Algebra 1 and geometry. I think you guys have had those classes. Okay, so let's just back up a little bit. It's Algebra 1 or Algebra. So branch of mathematics that uses symbols, often letters, to represent numbers and relationships, allowing for manipulation of expressions and solving of equations. So if you just look at a math equation, okay, so we have some y's and x's, right? And then maybe a different equation with a different set of y and x relationship, and somehow we got to take these two equations. Right? That can maybe seem kind of abstract. Of course, we're going to be solving a lot of puzzles like that. But every one of these is really like the skeletal framework of like some real life application. There's real life applications to all of this. Right? I mean, right away, I think of like all the physics that I do, because I teach some physics classes, right? We use this math all the time. Right? I bet all those items in front of you right now, the calculator, the pencil, paper, there was like a whole field of topics that went into creating all those. So I think I got a slide coming up for that too pretty soon. But yeah, everything had to be designed, right? There's some math. There have been plenty of times where either jobs I'm working or interests and hobbies I'm working on, like there's this or that puzzle I have to solve, and I need to make some calculations, and figure out how to design something. Right, goes back to algebra and geometry. Right. Ooh. So where does this come from? There's this whole like fascinating history of math that leads up to you guys sitting in this class right now. Like you go back thousands and thousands of years ago, just people like hunter-gatherer tribes just like roaming around on the savannah in Africa. Right? Maybe they could do some basic counting, like count to 20 or whatever they could do, right? But if you want to like do bigger organization or design something really technical or have like finance or something, right? Now you need some way to have a better number system. Right? So, okay, at some point you run into Roman numerals, but that's okay for counting, but not really doing like algebra or calculus or high level math. Okay? At some point, I mean, it took people thousands and thousands of years to just invent the number zero or to have that concept like, like you can write a character on paper and it represents nothing. Yeah. And even that was controversial for a lot of reasons. Right. But now that allows a place value system. Right? And by the way, you guys know we use a base 10 place value system, right, which is completely different than Roman numerals, right? But allows for high level math. Right. Okay, and then now we're right up to the slide. So it was the year 820. The year 820. That's when this book was written. Oh, this book, by the way, what language is that right there? Arabic. Yeah, that's where this comes from. Right. It was called Algebra, like the system of solving these abstract equations. Algebra. Ooh, algebra. That's where it comes from. Year 820. Okay. So that allowed them to make the next step and represent ideas and with these abstract type equations. I have a lot of examples of these, by the way, like in word puzzles, but we won't get to that part of the presentation today, but probably on Wednesday. You guys see a bunch of examples I have. Right. Here's a page and here's a translation into English back in the day. Yeah, so this comes from. Right, so why you take this class? What are you going to get out of this class? So have a few slides because there's different perspectives on this. So maybe like just in the abstract, if you like enjoy sitting here solving puzzles and you never really know like what skill you're gonna pick up from one class that's gonna be useful down the line, right? But some of you guys do. Like if you want to do something like science or engineering or math related and as a career, then definitely right you're going to be using this class all the time. I mean, some for the and who knows to what extent or what chapter or what day you're going to be in here, right? Or what, right? So let's look at some of these. Here we got here. I got a stack of coins here. I mean, that's pretty flashy. Look at this curve. Look at the shape. If I draw a graph next to that, does that look maybe like an exponential type curve? Just takes off real fast. Right? So if you put $100 in a bank account, or well, it's not a good bank. Let's say like index funds, right? Something like that. Someone's going to earn some like 7% interest, right? 7%. Okay, so the next year it's what would that be? You know what? I haven't done this yet, but I'm going to flip my screen over here. Let's do a little calculation. I'm curious about this. I want to see how this is going to work. Let's say you put $100 in a bank account. Can you guys see that 100 right there? All right. And that's going to grow at, let's say 7% interest. So next year it'll be 1.07 times as much. That would be what, like $107, right? Okay, great. What if you did that for 20 years? 20 years. Can I just go to the power of 20? Can I do that? Wonder how much money that would be. Let's see. That's almost $400 there. What if I did that for like 50 years? Almost $3,000. So that's how you turn $100 into $3,000 with compound interest, right? Just let it sit there. You earn interest, something like that. Okay. So we got that. You know how finances work. Of course, if you take out a loan, it's the same math, just working against you, right? So got a race to try to pay it off. I got here, economic profits. This could be for microeconomics, but running a business, because those go hand in hand, right? Running a business one day, and maybe you want it to earn a profit. So it stays up, right? Got a rocket here to maybe hey, we're in Brevard County. We get to see rockets launched all the time. Really appreciate that. That's really cool. But any kind of engineering, right, math involved. We got mill here. Now these two graphs are kind of related. Actually, they relate to that stack of coins too. It's like think about how exponents and logarithms work, which are just opposite sides of the same coin here. You guys know like a Richter scale, there's like a magnitude 6 quake that happens somewhere. Like, what does that really mean? That scale is actually logarithmic, like exponential. Moore's law. Do you guys know what Moore's law is? Right, it's like the number of transistors that you can economically fit onto a chip. It periodically doubles, it's like every 18 months or something like that. Okay? It has to do with exponential growth in technology. So if you look at what technology existed in 1970 versus 1980 versus 1990 versus 2000, right, and bring it all the way up now, right? Follows sort of an now this looks like a straight line. If you look real close, this is actually it's a semi-log curve because the number of chips goes like 1, 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and so on all the way up. So it's actually a same curve as these coins right here. Chemistry, right? Oh, yeah, anything you do in chemistry, which, by the way, I don't know what your guys' chemistry teacher told you, but I mean, just like all these subjects, everything's involved in everything, right? Just look at the paper on your desk. My chemistry teacher worked at a paper mill before she started teaching my class chemistry. Right? So, there's chemistry involved there. How about the calculator on your desk? How about the pencils that you're holding? You guys think that took some chemistry to figure out how to get the plastic and how to get the metals, right? Put that together, right? Well, how about this 3D printing here? Right, you guys think there's maybe some equations involved in aligning those lasers to 3D print something? Ooh, I got a recipe going on here. Hey, what if you have to triple a recipe? Like, okay, I need 3/8 of the tablespoon here. Oh, wait, I need to triple that. What's that? For fractions, right? All right, so yeah, so there's definitely some direct applications where I bet some of you guys know, like, oh yeah, I'm definitely going to be using math in my career, and it's not even a question, right? Some kind of engineering route, right? And then again, like just common interest, or you never know how you're going to use it. Then I have this slide here for maybe really open-ended. I have a story I'm going to steal from a guy named. Well, I want to see if you guys can figure this out. Who was the guy who? Wait, who I have here? Have an Apple iPhone. Have what movie is this right here?
Toy Story.
Toy Story. Aha, aha. Right. Who was the guy who founded both Apple and Pixar? Who was that? Huh?
Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs. Right. So yeah. Now Steve Jobs gave this commencement address, really famous commencement address back in 2005. I'll tell you what, I'll throw this link on the Google Classroom after today. So by 4 o'clock, you should have this. All right. Well, how are we doing on time here? Okay, yeah, we got time. All right. Where he's talking to Stanford graduate. I mean, they're just graduating, so they're starting their life beyond college. Right? He tells a few life stories, and one of them like really encapsulates a certain principle really well that I've seen in my life too. You guys probably learn as you grow up down the line. So still a story. So he was adopted by his parents when he was a little baby. His adopting parents were really poor, a lot of money, but they saved up money over the first 18 years of his life so that they could send him to college. Right? Always wanted to send him to college. So he went to Reed College for just like one semester or something like this. And then when he was there after one semester, he was, okay, I don't really know what I want to do in life. Little did he know that just within a few years, he was going to found one of the first computer companies. But hey, it wasn't really a concept there in the early 1970s, right? I don't know how these college costs are going to get me there. And I see all my parents' savings from 18 years being drained. So he did something that I probably wouldn't advise for most of you guys, but he dropped out of college. But interestingly for him, that worked out because it liberated him to follow a really unique path. What he did is he started dropping in on classes that just looked interesting and for no other reason. Found this out too. If you guys ever have the opportunity to go to a 4-year university, a lot of those auditoriums, classrooms, they might seat like hundreds of students, like 300-400 students, right? And your college class schedules are different from high school. Like high school, you go like class to class to class to lunch to class to class. In college, it's more like, well, I have this 8:30 class, and then I have a 2-hour window, and then I have these back-to-back classes, and then I have another hour window. Right? So you get some space. And in those space, you can start looking around and say, that astronomy class looks really interesting. That geography class looks really interesting. You can just like hop in the back of a 400 student auditorium. Nobody knows you're there. You just learn cool stuff. Same thing he did. Now, of course, he never got credit for these classes that he wasn't paying tuition for. One of the classes that he hopped in on is this one right here. Guys, what is calligraphy? What is calligraphy? Huh?
Handwriting.
Yeah, okay, like handwriting, fonts, like the art of fonts kind of thing, right? Art of fonts, right? Now, if you're a practical person, like, oh, how am I going to make a job or get money out of this? Well, okay, it's probably, I don't know. I don't know how many full-time, full-salaried calligraphers there are in the world. I imagine not probably too many, right? But the school he was going to, Reed College, had this well-known calligraphy program. And he was interested in this, so he would just sit in his class. Now, just a few years later, as he's sitting in his garage designing some of the first home computers with Steve Wozniak and a few other people, right? They had cracked probably many, like thousands of puzzles. And one of the puzzles they had to crack was, well, how do you create a legible font on a pixelated screen? Maybe easy to take for granted nowadays, but that was one thing they had to figure out back in the 1970s. Okay. And then all those principles of design came back, and like, why do we even have nice looking fonts today? Well, that originates back in the 1970s because Steve Jobs had this knowledge, and of course, other companies like Microsoft just, oh, okay, yep, and well, we want that too, right? Right. So yeah, so the takeaway here is that you cannot connect the dots going forward. So follow your heart, follow your interests, make the most of every class that you're sitting in, and down the line, you might be surprised what the applications of any particular piece of knowledge is, even if it doesn't maybe seem relevant at the time. It's calligraphy. Okay. All right, as you guys were walking in, I gave you guys this curriculum syllabus. Okay. Here's the course paged out. Now, those are approximate dates. This is the first time I'm teaching this course, but I was looking through your book and it looks like it's full of good questions. Have some of those on upcoming slides too. So this is approximately what we're doing, plus or minus a few days on any one of these topics. Right, here's your Google Classroom code down here. So tonight, go sign up on Google Classroom. I will post this class video, also Google Classroom, so you guys get to see that again. Part of what we're going to be okay, you guys got a calendar. All right, I think I showed you guys some Google Classroom stuff there. One of the programs we're going to be using is Alex. This is the first time I'm using this program, but I think a lot of you guys, how many of you guys are familiar with Alex? Who's familiar with Alex? Yeah, that's most of the class right there. Cool. Right? And as some other math teachers were showing me about this, I really like this. This is well, okay, if you're not familiar with it, there are over 400 topics. It looks like pretty student-centered, like individual student-centered. So if you are ahead of things, so you're getting things real fast, they can move ahead a little bit. And if you're really struggling on something, then you keep getting questions that are related to that particular topic and told how it works. Right? So my plan is to pull this up approximately every Friday or something. That's really what they're recommending, about every Friday. How do you guys work on that? So some other math teachers were also recommending something approximately like this and say, well, it's like, again, 400 something questions altogether, but that takes all year to do. So they're saying by the end of every quarter, have students have some percentage completed, and some students might struggle maybe with like the last 10%. So if they get like at least 90%, then they'd be good enough by the end of quarter four. So I'm going to stick to that. See how that paces out, and you guys get a grade by on that for the quarter. It's the plan. All right. You know what? Right. That is about as far as I can get today. So I'm gonna wrap that up there. But you guys know tomorrow is laptop day, and then on Wednesday my plan is to pull up this presentation and I'll show you guys a little bit. I have all these really cool questions I pulled straight out of your book. So I want to go over these. Take Wednesday, just so you have the idea of what kind of life questions could you run into that this class could be good for. All right, so that's a wrap on today, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day.